we're here to talk about Star Wars Old Republic. So this is the Star Wars MMO. So guys have been going completely nuts over this. Like it's like the ultimate experience. Can you give people sort of just basically a rundown of what they can expect from Star Wars Old Republic?
Sure. So Star Wars The Old Republic is a fully featured MMO taking place about 3,000 years before the events of the movies and the rise of Darth Vader. It's really the first try to bring full storytelling to an MMO space. So all the quests are fully VO'd. You actually make decisions. There's interactive dialogue. You're actually going to make moral decisions that actually come back and affect what happens to your character. It's a very different feel, much more akin to the level of polish and cinematic storytelling you would expect in a single-player RPG, but in a full MMO.
Obviously, you're saying it's set 3,000 years before. If anyone's going to know about the story, it's definitely going to be you. So what can you tell people about the story, about the world here in the Old Republic?
So the big difference is in the Old Republic, this is actually the rise of the Sith Empire. So there's not two guys running around trying to stomp the whole world from secret. There are thousands of Sith and there are thousands of Jedi. So you get these big dramatic scenes with tons of people with lightsabers. We have 8 different classes, which allow you to play all the different iconic characters. So you can, if you really love Han Solo, you can be a smuggler. If you love Boba Fett, you can be a bounty hunter. We have the Republic Trooper, who's really the military guy. The Imperial agents, you can be like the Imperial officer who goes and, you know, sort of does the stealthy route and takes care of things. Each one of the classes, because they have their own unique story, allows us to do a more specific sort of storytelling in RPG than even you would get in a single-player game. So you can actually see what would it be like to play the Han Solo RPG, which is almost sort of like an action comedy RPG, right in the middle of while other people are playing their big heroic Jedi, please. Yeah,
so obviously I've got to ask, what is the most popular class here that people have been playing at the Expo, and what's your favorite class?
So right now in testing's always a sort of a different group because it's a pretty hardcore group, and the Sith Inquisitor is coming out as a really, really hard favorite, which is kind of the Emperor fantasy. One of the things we asked early to ourselves was, if you were in conversation and you had the ability to shoot lightning out of your hands at someone, how often would that come up? And it turns out it comes up a lot. In fact, playing a light side Sith Inquisitor, because morality and faction are different, so you can be a good man in a bad place. Playing a light side Sith Inquisitor is actually extremely hard because of the temptation of the dialogue options that very often say, shock him. And you kind of have to say, ooh. Right now, I'm really enjoying the Trooper. Having the sort of band of brothers, you know, one-man army military feel, I really liked the soldiers in Star Wars. I was always like, you know, those are the guys fighting the war, right? The guys in the poor trench in Hoth, like, and getting to live that life. And it's a very different feel for an RPG. Getting called in front of the Galactic Senate and having to decide whether or not you're going to testify and tell them what's actually happening in Special Forces. Not your normal RPG stories.
Yeah, so it's definitely, like, as you were saying, it gives players like a whole kind of array of choices, and they can kind of experience the different, you know, even, you know, Smuggler's going to be completely different from a Trooper, and you can definitely play to your own class style. What's the combat like in the game? Because obviously it's sort of like quite a full front. Obviously everyone's like, this is, you know, 3,000 years ago. You got all these thousands of Sith trying to go on. So what can players expect from combat in Old Republic?
One of the things that was really important to us early was that it had to feel like Star Wars, which meant fast, clean, dynamic. What you see when you're looking at it is people get hit with grenades and explode through the air. There's force pushes and force pulls and people leaping, lots of movement, lots of dynamic energy. When you're fighting an average guy, you're going to take him out super fast. It's about you fighting tons of people, not 9 guys fighting one, you know, orc for 5 minutes. Everything feels heroic and feels like you're living inside your own Star Wars movie.
So obviously you're going to have a character in MMO, and there's going to be leveling and experience. How do players gain experience throughout the game, and kind of how do the abilities unlock? Because obviously I can't imagine you're going to be there as a Jedi and be able to suddenly lift up massive things and hurl them across the room, or are you literally going to be able to do that right from the get-go?
You're going to be able to do some of that right from the get-go. One of the things that was really important when we said we want you to feel like a Star Wars hero was no killing rats. Okay, like there's not a time where like we're skipping Luke on Tatooine. We're just jumping over that time period right to the heroic. So first thing out, you know, within a couple of levels as a Jedi Consular, you're picking up giant items and throwing them. You're pushing people back with force powers. You know, you've got a flamethrower as the bounty hunter. You're doing big, heroic, fun stuff right out of the gate.
So, I mean, what's been basically your favourite part of all the narratives that are in Old Republic? What's been your favourite bit to kind of work on and to let people see?
Well, most recently it was Hutball, which is what we're showing at the show. I got to ride Hutball. We wanted to do something that made sense to have the different groups be able to fight each other, so Republic versus Republic or Empire versus Empire. So we said, okay, this can't be part of the war, this can't be part of anything. I love Nar Shaddaa, I love the Hutts, they're big and over the top and ridiculous, and I said, okay, let's do this giant, a lot of the guys on the design team had always wanted to do sort of a Running Man smash TV, just big violence for violence sake, and the Hutts gave us a perfect opportunity to do that. They got Steve Bloom in to do the voice, who's just fantastic, and everything came together, and the first time I heard it and saw it, it was pure vision on the screen, and it was amazing.
So obviously the release date's been announced today. Do you want to tell people when the release date is and where it is that they can pick it up?
Sure. So we are coming out December 22nd for the UK, December 20th in the US. One of the big things is pre-order now. We are going to do limited copies. We want the servers to run. We want things to be nice on opening day, which means once we're through all of our pre-orders, that's it. So you might not be able to pick it up on day one. So go out and grab a copy.